we published a paper not too long ago called Minotaur. And this is part of the future Ouroboros agenda for Ouroboros Omega. But Minotaur is basically a multi-resource consensus model. So we tend to think of, well, proof of work versus proof of stake versus proof of storage versus proof of history. Well, what if you could just do all of them in one network? So one cryptocurrency has multiple consensus algorithms, and they're weighted against each other in some way. And then as a result, you're incentivizing now the development of different resources that the network can use. So some of those are, the proof of stake is really good about decision making. It's really good about voting. It's really good about delegation of authority. Proof of work is really good about aggregating large amounts of computation. Well, proof of storage be really good about creating a network of storage places to put things. Well, if you had a master algorithm, in this case Minotaur, it would be able to do all of those things. And it's something that we've been exploring for the future Cardano agendas.
Charles Hoskinson, the co-founder of the blockchain engineering company Input Output and the Cardano blockchain platform, is widely known for his great ideas and even better speeches. In a recent interview, Hoskinson speaks at length about some of his plans for the 7th largest cryptocurrency platform by market cap. One of those highly revolutionary plans is Minotaur, Cardano's multi-resource blockchain consensus protocol that combines the attributes of proof of work, proof of stake, proof of storage, and proof of history. The way Hoskinson and the rest of his team envision it, Minotaur will help the Cardano blockchain platform function as both proof of work and proof of stake with the ability to handle a higher degree of work fluctuation compared to the Bitcoin blockchain. Hoskinson plans to improve the blockchain platform by envisioning and providing solutions to problems that would arise after 10 or even 20 years of usage. We will now take you to his interview with Bitboy Crypto. But before we do, please take a little time to like this video, drop your comments and observations below, and subscribe to the channel. We profoundly appreciate the support of all our viewers and subscribers.
Back in 2020, there was the ITN, the Incentivized Testnet, and we created a whole bunch of pioneers as an ecosystem. And those 1,000 stake pools rolled over. Now we have over 3,000 stake pool operators, and it's one of the most decentralized networks in the entire cryptocurrency space. And a lot of these stake pools go beyond just a profitable business. What they do is they have mission-oriented pools. So we see a lot of people who are feeding homeless or kids, or doing clean drinking water, or providing electrification for people who don't have it in Africa. So it's really amazing to see that diversity of commercialization meets mission orientation. And almost all of them are small business owners, you know. So there's thousands of small businesses that have been put in business by Cardano for the business of running the network, and it's truly amazing to see how that's happened, and to do it in a very green way as well. So these stake pool operators, the amount of energy consumption per stake pool is usually less than, you know, what it takes to run your Tesla car, or, you know, a small house or something like that. And in aggregate, the power of this hotel that we're in is probably the whole Cardano network. Yeah. Contrast that with the proof of work world, where it's the energy of a nation state. So it's really amazing to see what science has been able to do, and good protocol design. It brings people together, it creates economic opportunities, it gets more decentralized over time, and it's environmentally friendly. That's a winner for me.
One thing you will always get from Charles Hoskinson's interview is his dedication to the Cardano project and to making everything work perfectly regardless of how many tweaks are needed to achieve such levels of perfection. In his interview, he also speaks about Minotaur and what the team hopes to achieve with the all-inclusive consensus. Please listen to the other part of Hoskinson's interview.
In terms of the network, a question that I had for you is, you know, right now it's in megabytes, the total amount of space on the network. Do you think that ever has to change to go to a higher level? Like what when the Cardano network is in full capacity, like what kind of energy do you think it's going to take?
Okay, well, we're talking about storage versus energy. So first, with respect to storage, you have a situation where if you have a system that continues to grow, eventually you're going to have not just megabytes and gigabytes, but terabytes and exabytes and yottabytes and
yottabytes.
Yeah, yotta is like as big as it gets.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Like the NSA storage facility in Bluffdale, Utah, is about 4 yottabytes. It's just massive amounts of data. You need a 50 megawatt power plant to run that data center. It's crazy. So that'll eventually happen if you're archiving everything and you want to preserve this concept of inclusive accountability and auditability and so forth. So one of the most important areas of research in the cryptocurrency space is the zero knowledge research lines, because there it gives you your cake and you get to eat it too. So people are talking about saying, well, I want to have a light client, but I want to have a full node security. In other words, if you send me a transaction, I'm interacting with a smart contract, I'm doing something, you're able to verify that the things you look at are correct. Great. So that's one dimension of it. The other dimension is what are the operating parameters of the system? In other words, to do all of this stuff, how much energy is consumed? So we tend to think of energy strictly as a consensus business, but you're very apt to link energy to storage because it's also a situation of, well, you have to all these hard disks and all these other things. So if you have talk about a yottabyte of scale, the NSA is burning 50 megawatts for their facility. So you'd be basically a power plant to store all this stuff, and that's just in a distributed sense. If it's replicated, it'll be even more. So there are some interesting questions about how do you amortize that and how do you incentivize that. And we published a paper not too long ago called Minotaur. And this is part of the future Ouroboros agenda for Ouroboros Omega. But Minotaur is basically a multi-resource consensus model. So we tend to think of, well, proof of work versus proof of stake versus proof of storage versus proof of history. Well, what if you could just do all of them in one network? So one cryptocurrency has multiple consensus algorithms, and they're weighted against each other in some way. And then as a result, you're incentivizing now the development of different resources that the network can use. So some of those are, the proof of stake is really good about decision making. It's really good about voting. It's really good about delegation of authority. Proof of work is really good about aggregating large amounts of computation. Well, proof of storage be really good about creating a network of storage places to put things. Well, if you had a master algorithm, in this case Minotaur, it would be able to do all of those things. And it's something that we've been exploring for the future Cardano agenda. So what happens post-Voltaire when you look at those things? So the next 5 years, because we looked at 2015 to 2020 for that horizon. And so we say, well, okay, 2025, 2027, this horizon, where do we go from there? And there's
the Cardano roadmap grows.
Exactly. And the point is that you want to be ever in solving not just problems that are today, but problems that are going to come 5 years or 10 years as a consequence of success. Ethereum ran into this where, okay, what happens if Ethereum gets adopted? Well, Ethereum gets adopted, so you have high gas fees and all these other problems. And they're like, boy, we should really solve that. So all these things came, some from the community like Polygon and rollups and these things, and others from Vitalik like Casper. But the problem is that the lead time was very, very long. So one of the things we tried to do was front load a lot of architecture and protocol design so that we're able to solve these problems faster as an ecosystem. So when you look at Ouroboros, for example, it's quite easy to imagine multi-resource consensus with an Ouroboros model. It's not a mammoth departure from the fundamental design of what we've done, so we can bring that to market much faster. When you look at zero-knowledge proofs and these things, it's much easier to do that within the extended UTXO model, the accounting model of Cardano and Plutus, than it would be with an account-style model. There's less to prove. The circuits are much simpler and these types of things. So that's kind of the great beauty and elegance of Cardano's design was there's a lot of future-proofing that's sitting inside of that, and that translates to better, faster, cheaper, and that translates to more responsible protocol design that ultimately doesn't burn out the environment or doesn't cause existential concerns long-term.
The Cardano blockchain protocol is currently the 7th largest blockchain protocol. As one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies, it has grown quite amazingly under the brilliant guidance of Charles Hoskinson. Before the recent crash, Cardano users were eagerly looking forward to the upcoming Vassal hard fork and the impact it would have on the growth of the cryptocurrency and the Cardano network in general. As of press time, the cryptocurrency is exchanging hands at $0.46, a 9.91% price decline in the last 7 days. What are your thoughts about the blockchain network and Hoskinson's interview? Please share your thoughts and observations in the comments section below, and don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks for watching the video.